Hel- Hello, welcome on to the first captain interviews of SGBL. I'm here with the two captains of the Honorless Gibles. May you introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Byram.
I'm Kabobs.
You guys don't want to add anything else to it? Just
Nope, I think
yeah,
everyone knows that we're the future champs of the team tour, so no point to go too deep into this.
Kabobs. Is there anything else you would like to add to that statement?
Just that everything you said is completely true.
But yeah,
Frank, also
first,
this part, yeah, we're laughing so much before this interview that it makes starting this thing really way too difficult because we're trying to figure out how to do, the intros and everything. So
yeah, you kind of already got into it. But how have you guys been doing before we start off more formal than like the team tour questions?
Doing pretty good.
How about you, Mr. Byram, Mr. Gibbles?
I'm doing great. Things are going well. Life is pretty good right now. Lots to be happy about.
And so, Kabobs, I'm gonna start this question off with you because you're a returning captain. But what
Of
brings
course.
you to two of the team tour, and why did you apply as captain again?
Well, you see, Steering wanted to be partners again. I turned him down for the Gibble.
So what you're saying
That's
is you
totally
like
what
older
happened.
men? I'm just joking.
Yeah, Third they got lucky last time. So I replaced my partner with a better one.
Oh, so are you already doing some trash talking?
Always.
Okay, and Mr. Byram, Mr. Gibble, you weren't captain last season. You were doing a bet with them. So what changed from this season to the last one? What made you want to be a captain?
Well, it was a lot of fun to experience the team tour from the outside looking in. I was way too busy and a little bit drained from playing Mons that summer, so I just wanted to, support it as just a, league owner with them. But it looked like it looked like so much fun, and being in Sir Kill and Quinn's server a lot and a lot of the other teams that, I put my bets on. I realized that it was such a fun looking environment. The auction looked amazing. The whole process of building and the camaraderie looks super fun, and it kind of fits with how I always lived my life playing sports and a team and everything. So I thought this is going to be a really fun season, and I haven't done this before. I want to do this with the people in the SGBL, and obviously finding my partner in Kebabs was perfect for this upcoming season. There's no one better that I could have as a partner, so I'm excited.
You said that you've never done this before. Is it just like being a captain of the team tour, or just like team tours in general?
I would say, oh, technically, I guess we did do DWC's team tour, but that was a little bit, you know, that was a little bit,
Different.
it was a little wonky. It was a little bit just like we tried to put something together, and it was a little bit of it was a cool format the way they formatted it. It was just, I don't think it executed super well. And the way we run our seasons and our tour last year, I thought this would be this is the first real one in my eyes because that one was just kind of, we got into it a little bit, wasn't super engaging. Our league is very different, so I'm excited for this to be my first official into the fray. Let's get into this type of team tour with the auction, with drafting a million teams and all of it.
Yeah. So I guess you guys kind of got into it a little bit before, but what makes you guys such a good captain duo, and what do you think will help you lead your teammates to victory? Hopefully, just is it
Well,
motivational speaking, just helping them prep? Anything in particular that you're looking
Well,
forward to
very
helping?
simple. Our team realizes even early on that we're really engaging overall, but also that they're gonna learn that Kebabs and I, as much as we love each other, we also hate each other. And that's what drives us to be better as captains. And we're gonna talk shit to each other almost as much as we'll talk shit to all the other teams. So
If anything, I talk more shit to Byram than I do the other captains.
dude. What's the worst, Kebabs? Sometimes I'm like, dude, you gotta chill a little bit with me, right?
I
But then,
have been more chill lately.
yeah, sort of. Barely, by the way.
Mm.
And meanwhile, Kabobs will then. But that's the thing, right? Kabobs like practices on me. It feels like he works his stuff out. You know, when a comedian works out their stuff in a smaller venue, he does it with me.
Yeah.
Then he takes it to all these other captains, and they don't have comebacks for Kabobs because Kabob roasts them. And then it's just like, I don't have a comeback. And I'm like, of course you don't. This is fucking shish kebabs over here. He's just cooking people left and right. Of course he's going to dominate the trash talk thing because he dominates me every day.
It's okay. I
But-
already started with steering. He got added when Mega Flygon got picked in Insurgents because he hates that mon.
That was perfect. Just start throwing
Yeah.
a little shade early on.
But I still can't believe that Mr. Kabobs bullies a 2 feet 4 inches Pokemon. By the way, I think that should be like illegal. But
Yeah, 2'4", but I could one shot a Corviknight with the tackle, so don't worry about it. See the
yeah,
count.
yeah, I've seen that calc. It's a thing of legends.
Definitely is.
But is there any people, any members that you guys were able to get in the auction that you're really excited to work with? Maybe for the first time, maybe it's like a recurring relationship.
Yeah, Kabobs, take this one.
This time, you see, I get to work with DJS again, who was just the MVP of the last team tour. Great guy. Was very happy to pick him up again. And then we also got Charlie, who was one of the best performing players in Insurgents last team tour. And Charlie is very, very chill so far from all the interactions, and he's been great to work with.
Oh, that's pretty good. Byron, is there anyone in particular that you're excited to work with, or is it just like the same people that Kabobs mentioned?
Well, DJS and Charlie were our first two picks, and I was honestly, it was the two formats we felt in mid tier and Insurgents that we felt weakest in as captains. So the fact that even though we spent a lot to get both of them, that was pretty much where we wanted to spend for those formats. That I was like, wow, I can't believe we literally filled up those two formats with the players that we really wanted. Like if we did not get DJS, if we did not get Charlie, it would have been perfectly fine. But they were like on top of the board for both of those formats. So when we got both of them, it was just like, all right, let's just work our magic for the last few picks, right? And I think we got super like not for anything, we got super lucky with a lot of our picks, right? AZ is
We
one
got
of the best fusions players, and also worked with Kabobs last year, right?
He also works with me in PAA.
And AZ's been a freaking treat to work with because he really attacks the format and he hunts and looks for everything and he's amazing and he's one of the best players in the format. Made the finals in our top division for fusions last season. Venice won the championship in the other fusions division. Super stoked. They've been very engaging and helpful all throughout in the early stages of the team tour. Lulzy has really been a treat, in the mid tier, and they're going to probably play Little Cup for us this season.
It'll be a mix between him and DJS for sure.
Absolutely. And then the fact that we were able to get Dashing and we get Dashing Subtile, like one of the better, Wi-Fi players out there in Paldex / and Natdex, mixing it up with Smeargle or Devin, depending how you call him, who made the Paldex finals this season in our league and lost to Sir Kill in a tight game. We have a lot of top tier players that Kabobs and I looked at it and we're like, we got the players that we really want for all of these slots. And we feel very comfortable. Like, I don't care what the names are on paper that some people know on the other teams. I feel our team is as good, if not better, than any other team. And our early heart engagement right now is at a really high level. I feel really good about where we're at currently.
And I guess you guys sort of mentioned, well, Byron specifically, kind of mentioned it towards the end. But I also asked the question: is there any like what's the greatest snipe, like the greatest budget? Like you were like, wow, like we got this guy for like 8K, 7K, when he could have gone for like 15 or even like triple that because he's that good of a player. They're that good of a player.
I mean, Devin, we got for 5K, and he made again finals of Paladex, which was fairly competitive. He barely lost to Sir Kill, And then he also always has done fairly well in the Nat Dex div, normally playing in top div, but was it the last season he was a sub for the second div, and he almost made playoffs with a losing schedule.
And then
How
this
Losing record
bad
when he
was
took
his,
over the team, I should say.
well, that
what
was the
was the
thing. This
losing record?
took over for Joe in Paldex, and he made it to the finals and had a crazy run. I think he had one loss in the regular season when he took over.
I believe him and Sir Killer were 7th and 8th together, or something
No,
like that.
it was like 5 and 7, but
5 and 7.
but he took a team that was not in the playoffs and then got to the 5th seed and then made the finals. But he got so SGBL curse was always the 1 seed, but the little known curse was the 5th seed is yet to win a title. So if he was in the 5th seed, he probably could have won that title against Sir Kill. He just got the cursed 5th seed slot.
Yeah, hopefully one of these days we see history happen in SGBL, right? The
It
fifth
just
seed.
happened this season. We finally had 1 seeds win a title.
Yeah, it's so tragic.
It's super.
I also did think we got Dashing was we got for 7 or 8K, one of the two.
Like,
He
yeah.
probably could have gone for more.
I think because of our budget for Paldex and Natdex, we didn't have like a super high budget to get players in those formats, outside of the fact that we spent it early. But the fact that we got players that we were ecstatic to get, couldn't believe we got them at that budget. It was just like, oh, like we put up Dashing thinking, okay, we're probably not going to get him, but if we get him, let's try to like bid for him, right? Devin was the same thing. Like we were thinking, okay, we may not get Devin, but we'll get someone else that we had in mind. So we put up Devin, and then no one bid for him, and we're just like, oh,
That one completely threw me off guard.
dude, it was just like, how the hell did that just happen? Like we were
When
just
it happened, I immediately went to Byram's DMs and were like, I kind of fucked up.
because we didn't
Not in a
think we were
bad
gonna-
way, but
Yeah, we didn't think we were going to get him. I think the plan was we were going to put someone else first before Devin, and then if we got them, great. If we didn't, it was fine because we were just like, look, we don't have a lot of money left. But the fact that we got Devin at 5K was just like, this was one of the players we wanted, and it was just like there was a couple formats. We had a few players we really wanted, DJS and Charlie being on the top of those two boards, but the fact that we were able to get like people we wanted all throughout and at the budget we did was just like, wow, did this really just happen? Like, holy crap.
Yeah, I know you're not supposed to compliment the competition, but yeah, I just see your roster and like, wow, how did they get? How did they have the budget for this? I'm like, yeah,
We saved it on the captain
really
slot,
good.
I'll be honest.
But I guess you said which ones you guys were like least comfortable in. Like it was if I'm not mistaken, you said mid tier and then fusions, right? Or was it another?
For me, it's Little Cup and mid tier.
And for me,
And then
it was
for-
Mixer and Insurgents, and neither of us really like Paldex. So I think between Kabobs and I, we could play a few of the other formats, but the formats without really rank, Insurgents and mid-tier were the two we were like, we need to get a player in those formats. Little Cup and Paldex were the next two formats that we were like, we want to spend a decent amount if needed. NatDex, we felt like there's just NatDex, but still between NatDex and Paldex, there are quite a lot of options. So we felt like we didn't have to break the bank, and we fortunately got I think our budget for like Dashing was like between 15 and 20K. We got him for 8. Devin was like 15K. We got him for 5. So it's just like, oh, okay. Like, how did that just happen? Even Venice, like for fusions, like we were gonna spend a lot in that format just because like of the knowledge I have playing in it. And then in addition, like it's a format you could kind of teach a NatDex player. But the fact that we got one of the best fusions player for 11K was just like we got values at those picks. And Venice also like 6.5K for a champion in the fusions division. Like there's not that many people who played that format yet. And the fact that we could bring a champion on board and a finalist on board for that format was just like cherry on the top of the cake, bro.
But instead of now, aside from the weaknesses, right? You guys covered that really well. What's like your best format? You and Kabobs. Like, you guys like had to choose. Like, oh, like I'm the
Well, the
best at like
format I'm
math.
probably best at isn't even allowed because no one wanted me to have fun in Ubers, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, it has to be specifically in the team tour, sadly, Kabobs.
Probably Red Red or Natdex.
Okay, pretty.
That is my best
standard.
format. Kabobs and I intend on playing Rad Red the entire season. Hence, us not really going for Rad Red players. We just thought we're gonna split the weeks for the most part, play every other week individually, and then the other one plays the other week. And we thought that's a format we feel very comfortable in. We like the format a lot. It's easier to find players to fill PAL decks or Nat decks specifically. So we just thought, you know what? We could take out a format. We could save 10K on the Caps budget, and we could really get after certain players. And I think that was an advantage for our budgeting at the end of the day.
Yeah, because there's a lot of like. I feel like a lot of teams spend a lot of money on like good Nat decks and like Rad Red players. That's a pretty good. That was a good plan of attack with how the auction started to unfold and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we kind of like that was the thing, right? We felt very comfortable with that. And worst comes to worst, like if people need to take over in certain formats, we have pretty versatile players, right? So if like Charlie needs to take a week off, we could slide DJS into Insurgents. Lulzy could play, mid tier, or we can move Devin to mid tier, and we feel very comfortable there. And then maybe that week, Venice fills in Natdex or in Red, and we have players who can play a few formats. Like DJS is unbelievably good in at least 3 of the formats, right? Charlie's
He's
like a
also
really
pretty good at Natdex. I don't know
is
as much about Paladex.
yeah, but that's the thing, right? We have players who can play multiple formats that make us feel really comfortable week to week. So if someone is unable to play, we have a good roster. We have a good size roster. I think the only weakness is I wish we had maybe one more player, but that's like again, that's like very minute, right? You want good players at the end of the day, and we got good players. We have really good players. Like we definitely benefit greatly right now.
Yeah, like I said, like when I saw the team, I was like, yeah, this is just so stacked. I think I even said that during the auction. I think I said, yeah, they're just getting everyone. You and your brother, Byram, are just kind of crazy at this auctioning thing. It seems like. I was like, yeah, that's a crazy value. It's like, I was like, man, I have money at this point that they would have like no money to spend on players. But yeah, it was a pretty good.
Frank, I know you're on the Kingdom of Speleology. I know you have to throw the big ups to your team and everything, but don't compare me to Spiel, please. I'm the better player. We're the better team, and that's just how it's going to be.
I know you're the goat, but like there is footage of me like saying, actually, was it when Hunky left? Huh. I don't know. There
Hunky was
footage.
there. He left more towards the middle of the draft.
I don't know. I don't know when I said it, but I did say like what? Like I think it was when Adem picked up Hunky. So I think he was there. I was like, how do they have money? Like what? But yeah, Gibble, you're the goat. You're always gonna be the goat in my eyes.
And you're my goat, Frank. Just not the week we kick your guys' butt. That's all.
I don't know. You might. I think you're gonna run away from me when our teams fight. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I'm playing that week. I'm
Our
playing
team won't even drop a game to you.
Hold on. Bobs. He says I'm running away. Like, I'm not going to fight Spiel that week, kick his ass in Red, beat him like I always do, just like everyone knows I always do. This is going to be a bloodbath that week against Spiel. Now, the rest of the games, I wish you guys the best of luck. Our team and your team, good camaraderie. We like your players. We do a lot of our players. I don't like Spiel. I don't like any of your guys. Otherwise, my teammates, they may like you guys. I don't like any of you guys. Frank, during that week, I hate all of you.
Yeah, it's gonna be for war, right?
Absolutely. And
It's
then
gonna be
afterwards,
war.
Afterwards, you could join our celebration dinner.
Well, I'm not even gonna join it. I'm just gonna be like, you're gonna force me to sit in the corner, like, and like see everyone else eat.
Frank, don't you have kids to take care of? I don't know. Like,
Well,
you
I
have
can
like
find a
40 kids?
babysitter. I have 10 kids actually.
10?
Come on,
Ah, my bad.
yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I forgot the Frank lore.
I can't believe you. Now you're gonna tell me that you don't remember me having an ex-wife now or something.
I think you had multiple ex-wives.
No, I just have one for now.
Ah, oops,
No.
my
You
bad.
know, like
I'm spoiling the script. My bad. Shit.
random. Any ladies out there, if you're trying to be my next ex-wife, hit me up. But all joking aside, I suppose. Yeah. What would make you? What do you guys think is like the Honorless Gibles difference, and that's gonna make you the champions? Like because I'm not saying if, but whenever you win the championship, right? What would be like the biggest thing that would bring you there? Like bring back home the chip, as the
All the
youngins say.
Theory and I got very close to it last time. We lost one game or to Sir Kill and Quinn. I believe it was 4-3 or however many games it was, I forget. That time, we, as much as I pains me to say this, Steer and I did not do the best as captains. And I learned a lot from that, and I'm already fixed a lot of those mistakes so far. Actually keeping players engaged, talking, and getting their input instead of just having them, yeah, you guys got this, and letting them do their own thing this time.
Oh, so you're saying that the failures of the past will bring you riches in the future?
Exactly. Sometimes you need to stumble before you get the trophy.
We're getting very philosophical in this interview, and I think I shed a tear while Kabab was explaining that.
Yeah, I'll get out of character for a bit, and I do genuinely think part of the reason if we do win the title and why we would win it, we have really good players, one, but we have players who have been engaging and helping each other out in the early stages of the builds and everything. We all have been talking and really getting super involved with everything, trying to help our teams be the best. Early stages of the draft have been pretty solid, although at this point, some of the drafts are still in like round two.
Staring
But
at
some of
Infinite Fusion and Red, you bunch of Johners.
Yeah, and mid tier Donning too.
it's really a couple teams that are making a John, right? But like all jokes aside, when it comes down to it, we do have players who are really engaged and bought in early on. Hopefully Kabobs and I could do a good job as captains and lead the team. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be on Kabobs and myself to keep the team engaged, keep the team active, and work really hard to try to win each week. And if Kabobs and I do a good job of being captains this season, I think that'll help us get over the top. And you could have teams with a lot of big names and good players, but if the egos don't mesh and people don't get along, those are the teams that lose. If you look at Sir Kill and Quinn's team last season, I genuinely believe the reason they won was not the players they had, and they had good players. But when I saw how Sir Kill kept people engaged and worked with people to build their teams and find ways to, figure out the sequencing in games and figure out the correct strats and the correct, investments in each week, that was what put them over the top. That's what let players who may have been a C level or B level player get to play like an A level player. And that's what I hope we can. If we can accomplish that as captains, I think we have a great chance, and there's no excuse for us not to have at least a chance to win the title. And I think we have the players to do it. If Kabobs and I, we put the effort in, we should have as good of a shot as anyone else to win it all.
Yeah, that's very true. What separates like the good captains, the great captains, players, is not just like making yourself better, like being good yourself and making your teammates better, right? So you
A
can
good
keep
example of that is, I keep going back to it, but Sir Kill last team tour, he knew he was struggling, so he put himself on the bench and let others play and just coach them through matchups with mocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean sometimes the winning play is sacrificing yourself a little bit, but as long as you win, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm sure Sir Kill does not care about like doing that. He helped win. He helped his team win. There you go.
He knew what he had to do.
If I'm not
Instead of
mistaken, didn't last year's final didn't it come down to the last game? Yeah, right.
Mhm.
It was a close series.
yeah,
I believe it was
they're the
Ubers,
ones
and I
that
believe that was
had
Deering versus Random Poplio. I want
yeah,
to say.
that was the
Yeah.
matchup.
And it was a crazy like finals game too, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty good.
Dude, so one thing in that game, because I was in Circle server, right? They were
Mhm.
struggling with Groudon in the matchup, and we had Ubers last year.
We had
And
Terra Heartflame, if I recall, as well, and that thing they had Koraidon, and Terra Heartflame in the sun is not okay.
so
Those
no,
matchups
but
are not fun for the enemies.
yeah, but the thing
Oof.
was in their prep early on, they kept getting destroyed by setup Groudon. Kept getting
Yep.
destroyed, kept getting destroyed, kept getting destroyed, right? They realized that Landers wasn't going to check anymore. Like, it was just not going to work out. So, one of the things they did in prep, I think they brought, like, if it was like Scarf Koraidon, and just turn one, click close combat on that Groudon if it clicks SD, because I was expecting the Landers to switch in and then proc an Adrenaline Orb. Just attack it right away. And because they clicked SD turn one and they hit him with close combat with Scarf Koraidon, they did like 60 something percent. And the
Mhm.
game was essentially at that point over. It was like one of those, it ended up being a good game, but they found the prep that they needed to get just the advantage to win the game. And then they brought other really cool stuff screens,
Sometimes,
golden yellow, and like really being you know, into like keeping the screens up and doing everything possible because that was the difference in the game. They won that game in the prep. It wasn't, and Poplio's a great player, obviously, but they won that game in the prep to that game. And that was like the biggest advantage there. And it was so cool to see. And it was just like, wow, it's amazing how the early stages of those mocks, they could not beat the team that was on, you know, on steering side and, kebab side of things, right?
Ren and
They
I did
won
cook
it in
those
the
Uber
prep.
drafts. We had fun with it.
Yeah, but they won it in the prep, and that was like one of the coolest things to see.
Yeah. It just man, it's crazy. Yeah, it's a great time. Um, I guess we kind of also got back into this a little bit, but is there any teams that you're like really excited to play against, or maybe even players, hopefully, that you're hoping to go against this season?
We have different things for this. Go kebabs.
The one that stabbed me in the back and left me for Will. I'm going for
Yeah.
Eastering. Have fun. Watch your back.
I would leave a lot of people for a Scottish man or something like that. Scottish people are kind of nice, kind of cool. Any specific players though, Kebabs, aside from steering, I presume that you want to match up against?
More than likely we'll be playing against Will. I need to keep my unbeaten record into him.
Yeah. You really little broed him or them in the interview? That's crazy.
Always.
And Byram, aside from your brother and the Kingdom of Theology, is there any teams or players you're hoping to face against this season?
Um, I think that's the team. I look playing of them is to me that's pay per view, right? That's like the biggest games of the season. We play so hard against each other and the mind games and the reads and stuff. There's always something special about those fights. Kind of sucks when one of us has to lose, but outside of that, man, I don't. The only problem is with some of the other teams. I don't know what format some of the teams will be playing. Um, a team that I really hope I would have a chance to play against. The Breaking Gems. They're the defending champs. They have a lot of good players on their team. If there was a way for, you know, I think if one of us play against them, it'll probably be against Quinn. If we play Red Red. But if there's ever a chance for me to play against Sir Kill, and that's one that I wanna, you know, I want to get revenge on. I've yet to beat him. If there was a format that I could play him in, whatever it is, I hope that we could have that chance to, run it back. Um, and Sir Kill's been one of my good friends in Draft League for a long time, and he's taught me a lot in draft, and we, help each other out a lot in terms of preps and stuff for big games and things like that. I, he'd be one that I really want to, I'd love to beat that team. That would be the one team that if there was any team, I want to beat them. They're the champs. It's the most fun if you could beat the champs.
Yeah, it's gonna go down in the history book, right? It's like, we stopped them at least for this week, and they were the best team last season.
Yeah.
The other team I want to fight is ZZ Alien and Wolves. They stole my boy Sean. It's personal now.
We couldn't even
You do
afford
it, like every second in the auction live stream, which you should check it out. It's in Hunky Donkey's channel. Every second it seemed like Kabobs was just like, man, I wanted to play with Sean, and it was like, okay. He was like, no matter what was the conversation, he brought Sean back into it.
I don't even think I bid it on Sean. Even though at that point, I think at max bid for us was like 22K, which he went for 25. So yeah, I wasn't getting him, but.
If you really wanted to play with Sean, I think you would have nominated him one of the first ones, and you would have bet like the whole house on him. But
Yeah, it was when Charlie got brought up. When I'm like, yeah, sorry, not going for you, buddy.
Yeah, but sometimes that's like the sad reality, right? Like, not a lot of people aren't going to be with their friends in this team tour. But I think instead of like seeing this as like a sad thing, it's more like, oh, this is really cool. I get to experience and play with new people. Hopefully, get new friendships. Because that's like the main takeaway I got from last team tour was like the relationships with new people and like seeing how everything worked like that. It's like, wow. Now I consider some of them my boys, like for life. One.
AKA Frank is totally not salty that the fish farm did not pick him back up again.
Yeah, I shed tears. But any final remarks as we probably close this out right now? Because I think it's a little bit over 30 minutes now, roughly.
See you in the winners finals interview.
Oh, damn.
I hope we have a good season. I'm excited. Let's, hopefully we can do this again at the end of the season, Frank.
Hopefully. And I think that would be all for the first captain's interview of the SGBL Team Tour Season 2. So I hope everyone enjoyed this. Hopefully check out every other captain interview because I'm sure it's going to be really insightful. And yeah, have a great day whenever you're listening to this. Have a good night or good day. See ya.